Hello, welcome to the Self Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Chapter 3 Social Institution Continuity and Change. And our topic is mainstream attitudes towards tribes. Although the early anthropological work of the colonial era had described tribes as isolated, cohesive communities, colonialism had already brought irrevocable changes in their world. On the political and economic front, tribal societies were faced with the incursion of moneylanders. They were also losing their land to non-tribal immigrant settlers and their access to forest because of the government policy of reservation of forest and the introduction of mining operations. Unlike other areas where land rent was the primary source of surplus extraction, in these hilly and forest areas it was mostly appropriation of natural resources, forest and minerals, which was the main source of income for the colonial government. Following the various rebellions in the tribal areas in the 18th and 19th centuries, the colonial government set up excluded and partially excluded areas where the entry of non-tribals was prohibited or regulated. In these areas, British favored indirect rule through local kings or headmen. The famous isolation versus integration debate of the 1940s built up this standard picture of tribal societies as isolated wholes. The isolationist side argued that the tribal needed protection from traders, moneylenders, and Hindu and Christian missionaries, all of whom were intent on reducing tribals to debtor-based landless labor. The integrationists, on the other hand, argued that the tribals were merely backward Hindus and their problems had to be addressed within the same framework as that of other backward classes. This opposition demanded the Constituent Assembly debates, which were finally settled along the lines of a compromise which advocated welfare schemes that would enable controlled integration. The subsequent schemes for tribal development, 5-year plans, tribal sub-plans, tribal welfare blocks, special multi-purpose area schemes all continue with this mode of thinking. But the basic issue here is that the integration of tribes has neglected their own needs or desires. Integration has been on the terms of the mainstream society and for its own benefit. The tribal societies have had their lands, forests taken away and their communities shattered in the name of development. Now let us discuss national development versus tribal development. The imperatives of development have governed attitudes towards tribes and shaped the policies of the state. National development, particularly in the Nehruvian era, involved the building of large dams, factories, and mines. Because the tribal areas were located in mineral rich and forest covered parts of the country, tribals have paid a disproportionate price for the development of the rest of the Indian society. This kind of development has benefited the mainstream at the expense of the tribes. The process of dispossessing tribals of their land has occurred as a necessary byproduct of of the exploitation of minerals and the utilization of favorable sites for setting up hydroelectric power plants, many of which were in tribal areas. The loss of the forest on which most tribal communities depended has been a major blow. Forests started to be systematically exploited in British times, and the trend continued after independence. The coming of private property in land has also adversely affected tribes, whose community based forms of collective ownership were placed at the disadvantage in the new system. The most recent such example is the series of dams being built on Narmada, where most of the cost and benefits seem to flow disproportionately to different communities and regions. Many tribal concentration regions and states have also been experiencing the problem of a heavy in migration of non-tribals in response to the pressures of development. This threatens to disturb and overwhelm tribal communities and cultures, besides accelerating the process of exploitation of tribals. The industrial areas of Jharkhand, for example, have suffered a dilution of the tribal share of population, but the most dramatic cases are probably in the northeast. A state like Tripura had the tribal share of its population halved within a single decade, reducing them to minority. Similarly, pressure is being felt by Arunachal Pradesh. Now, let us wind up the session and thank you very much for engaging yourself with the Self Learning Podcast.